Welcome back to JB Reviews. In the last video I stated that the Ram 3500 is the undisputed champion in this segment. However, that's not the case for the 2500, and there's a few things that Ram can do that can really put them ahead of the game, and they're gonna have to copy GMC to do it. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Special shout out to Jerry Seiner, Buick GMC here in South Jordan, and Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Sandy, Utah. They did allow me to do this video. Let's go ahead and get to the first point. For 2024, GM did add a 10-speed transmission behind the L8T gas. I actually own that truck, and although I don't really care for the performance of it, it's a great engine for what I'm doing today. I don't tow a lot, and I think that for what I do tow, it does a great job. I have a 13,000 pound fifth wheel and a 10,000 pound race trailer. That gas engine does a great job. Now here's where Ram can pull ahead and potentially really beat GM, is by number one, taking off MDS, which is cylinder deactivation, off of the Hemi, and adding forced induction. Low boost, let me just say that first, because I know people are gonna be like, they're never gonna do that, but a low boost option, maybe what, 6 pounds of boost, maybe, would be all you would need. And I would venture to say 500 horsepower, maybe, 570 pound-feet of torque. That's not bad, right? If they were to do that, I think that they would have the best option in the segment, better than the 7.3, which is from Ford, and of course better than the 6.6 right now currently. Now I would also be okay if they increased the compression, right? And if you use premium, you would get maybe 20 to 30 more horsepower. I think that would be perfect, especially for people like me who live in these higher elevation states. So that's something, and that's my first point where I think Ram could really pull ahead of GM when it comes down to the gas engines. Number two, see right there? We need a more refined transmission behind the Cummins. Now, GM has done a great job. Back in 2020, they added the 10-speed Allison transmission, stamp of approved Allison for all the keyboard warriors out there. And they did a great job. Like, that transmission is very well rounded. It has deep gears, first, second, and third. And when you're not planning on towing a trailer, well, it's easy to live with day to day. You don't really feel the shifts at all. But the only time you feel is when you're under load and that torque converter locks up. In this truck, it feels like that torque converter is always locking up, whether you're in tow haul mode or not. It's just so, yeah, it's not a well-refined transmission. Now, don't get me wrong. We don't need 10 gears, as I've said many times. I think we only need 1 or 2. That's it. But on top of that, they would have to make sure that the new transmission is strong with the downshifts and works well with the exhaust brake. Apart from that, I think that they would have a gold mine against Ford and GM. And I bet you money too, most guys who buy these trucks, they probably would skip the new transmission if they left the box open for the Eisen AS69RC, which is found in this truck now. But I think 1 extra gear would help to, get those steps a little bit closer, and would just make this truck a rocket ship if you need to get up a steep grade. Number 3, we need a lighter overall truck and a larger bed. But let's talk about the truck being lighter. So if you don't remember, they did add aluminum components to the diesel. They did make the hood aluminum, and they did take some weight out of like this radius arm, like you see the holes in there. They made this a little bit lighter as well. But that being said, this truck is still too heavy because Ford has aluminum body trucks, right? And not just the hood, they have the doors, probably the fenders, the beds, everything. So I think that Ram doesn't necessarily have to go all aluminum, but they can probably do some more shaving up front, maybe even make the doors aluminum if that helps to maybe shave an additional 100 to 200 pounds. It's not much, but maybe 100, 200 pounds would fit the bill. Also, they would have to increase the size of the bed. So I'm not talking about the long bed, but the standard bed on this GMC is basically 6 foot 10 inches. I think Ram could come in with a standard bed 7 foot in length, and I think that it would make the truck look so much better ergonomically, but it would be more functional for the guys and girls who don't really need an 8 foot bed. Because I have a dually with an 8 foot bed, and I will never use the size of the bed. I wish that GM offered a 6 foot 10 inch bed option for the dually. That would be kind of cool actually. But I do believe if they did increase the size of the bed, they could make the 50-gallon fuel tank an option for the standard beds. So right now currently Ram has a 6 foot 4 inch bed and this 8 foot bed that you see here. And I think that if they did increase the standard size bed, they would really capture more market share with that. Now we do know that GM decided not to compete in the horsepower and torque wars anymore. Now, they're sneaky though. GM is very sneaky. They're not competing there, but you know what they're competing at? Ram nor Ford can touch GM on their gross axle ratings in the rear. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So, this truck has a 7,250 pound gross axle rating out back. This is the standard bed, right? Now, normally with the long bed, it should have a great rating, but on the Ram side of the house, you see this? The gross axle rating out back is 7,000 pounds. Now, if this was a 3/4 ton, oh my goodness, it would be awful. Absolutely awful. It would be like 6,040 pounds compared to a 3/4 ton 2500 GMC, 6,600 pounds, and they added a max trailering package to the mix. So now you can get 7,230 pound gross axle rating out back on a 3/4 ton GM pickup. And it doesn't just stop there. We haven't even talked about dualies yet. Those sneaky rascals over there, if you get a dually, GM, 10,400 pound gross axle weight rating out back. Rams is 9,750 for the dually, and whether you get a 450 or 350, it's 9,900 pounds. So you might be able to out torque and out horsepower a GM truck, but you're not going to out axle them out back. So last point, and this is my final point here, Ram has gotten really messy with their tow numbers. They've been decreasing them and all that stuff. So here's what GM did. GM decided to give you a trailering information sticker. Shows you the gross combined weight rating, it shows you the curb weight, shows max payload, all your towing numbers for conventional and gooseneck, and they give you an idea of what the hitch weight should be. So all Ram gives you is just this yellow sticker that you see right there, and then of course the axle ratings and all that stuff. So I think that what I've mentioned in this video is a few things that Ram should do. There's probably a few other things I could probably mention, but if I had a list, I would say that for the 3/4 ton segment, they really need to do something there. But apart from that, the things I mentioned in this video, I think most people would agree are like top of the list. So hope you guys liked the video. Special shout out again to Larry H. Miller in Sandy, Utah, and Jerry Seiner here in South Jordan. If you are in the market, be sure to reach out to these guys. Let them know you saw the video. Peace!